In 2003, at the Frankfurt Motor Show, Alfa Romeo released a concept car that would later become the 8C Competizione. It was made from 2007 to 2010, so we had to wait 4 years. I've had to wait a lot longer than that, but finally today, I'm going to get to drive the Alfa Romeo 8C Competizione. Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome back to 5 Zeros Supercars. I've always loved the 8C. I think it's one of the most beautiful cars of recent times. It was designed by Wolfgang Egger and Daniele Gaglioni of the Centro Stilo at Alfa Romeo. It's a beautiful thing. Steel chassis wrapped in a beautiful, voluptuous carbon fiber body. As I said, they were made from 2007 to 2010. There were only ever 500 coupes made, of which only 40 came to the UK. So nowadays it's a particularly rare car. And the plan was to make 500 Spider variants, but they only actually made 329 because this car was a bit of a victim of the 2008 crash in the markets. I guess they ran out of wealthy customers to buy the car, because when new in the UK, these were around about £175,000. But we'll come on to what they're worth today. But just look at it. How beautiful is this car? We're going to have a walk around the car and start at the front. So typically Alfa Romeo with the badge at the front and the offset number plate. What I love about this car, if you actually look back to the 2003 concept, it didn't change a great deal, and that's remarkable, really. The lights changed a little bit, the front end changed a little bit, but these bulbous lights, and then you've just got this kind of, the whole body is curvy and voluptuous and sexy. It's a beautiful thing. If we come round the side, now there are two different styles of wheels you might come across these. Some of them had the big teledial wheels. This one actually doesn't. I must admit, I'm a bit more of a fan of the teledial wheels. You've got the Quadrifoglio badge here, but if you just run your finger over that, that is not a sticker, that is a painted on badge. It's a beautiful thing, and that, just like it is in the Quadrifoglio Stelvio and Giulia, is a nod back to the racing heritage of Alfa Romeo. Curvy lines, and then for me, the back end of this car is just on fire. Big, wide hips. The shape of that rear bit of glass in the window, but then you come round the back and it's just, for me, these round lights, there's no aero wings or vulgarity on the car. It's just clean and smooth and beautiful. Quad tailpipes. It's a stunning, stunning thing. Now, if you remember back to the 4C, that had a very similar look at the back, but the original for me, 8C Competizione, just look at it, beautiful. It reminds me of the classic cars of the sort of 60s and the 70s, those curvy racing cars that raced at Le Mans. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, before we look at the engine, color-wise, it came in 3 base colors. They had Alpha Red, black, or a pearlescent yellow, or they did a special competition red, but there were also paint to sample options, so you could pretty much have it in any color. I'm not a red car fan, but this car looks so good in this red. It's beautiful. But let's pop the bonnet and have a look underneath. I have to reach all the way in here. So under here we have the tour de force, a 4.7 litre V8, 90-degree V8. Performance figures 450 horsepower and 480 Newton meters of torque. But I'm not so sure this car is necessarily about the performance figures. This car is about the emotion of driving and the noise that this thing makes. The 8C Competizione Spider was voted by several magazine outlets as the best sounding V8 of all time, and I cannot wait to give that a test very shortly. Weight-wise, the coupe is 1,585 kilos. The Spider was a bit heavier at just over 1,600 kilos. I guess nowadays if you compare it to modern cars, the thing that maybe lets this car down a little bit is the gearbox. It's a 6-speed automated manual single clutch gearbox. And I guess in the days where we're so used to double clutches and speed of gear changes in the milliseconds, but I think, and I don't know yet because we'll find out when I start driving, I think that's just going to add to the theatre and the drama and the engagement of this drive. But yeah, certainly, what an engine that is. Now, I know I said this car's not about performance. It'll still do 0 to 62 in 4.2 seconds and a top speed of 182 miles an hour. So it is no slouch. But inside, it's just so retro in here. It's cool. The steering wheel is so plain, lovely big dials, and then lots and lots of kind of brushed aluminium, lots of real dials, a proper old school stereo here. And then because it's got a carbon body, there's carbon everywhere. On the door cards is carbon. The dash has kind of got like a brushed or a matte finish carbon down here. There's a lovely plaque here, 500 limited edition. It's a really special thing in here. And one of the things I love the most is if you look at the pedals, obviously there are only 2 pedals, but the brake pedal has a big Alfa Romeo shield in there. They're just beautiful, beautiful things everywhere you look. And then also, I don't know whether you'd be able to make this out, we've got some beautiful tailored luggage in the back as well, making this car a proper GT special. You've got a bit of a boot, you've got some stuff in the back in your Alfa Romeo tailored bags. Just lovely. Now, before we go off driving, I should probably show you what the luggage compartment is like, because, you know, can I fit 2 dogs in the boot? I doubt it very much. You've got the fitted luggage we've talked about already in the back. Then you've got this flat parcel shelf, I guess perfect for lying your tuxedo on when you go to the casino. But then if I lift this up, here's the boot, look, and it's actually got another piece of fitted luggage. That's it. But right at the bottom, you've also got a very cool Alfa Romeo warning triangle. But yeah, that's your boot. It's not the biggest. It does make me question what on earth is underneath that parcel shelf, to be fair. But I love the fitted luggage. Very, very cool. Now, one of the things I wanted to do whenever I come here to 5 Zeros is film with special cars. Now, there are special cars everywhere. There's a DB6 just there. There's a 250 GTE just there. But this is the only one of its kind in the world. It's based on an Aston Martin Rapide. It's called a Jet 2+2. It's basically an Aston Martin shooting brake. And we're going to see if we can get that on the channel. There's a beautiful Ferrari up there, which could well be the next car we get on the channel. But let's head outside, because if you come to an event, there's now a new place where you can get coffee and pizza. Now then, if you tune into the channel regularly, you will probably remember I bought the Ferrari 296 GTS down to 5 Zeros for their first Marque Weekend, for the supercar weekend. Since then, they've done super SUVs, classic cars, Aston Martin and hypercars, but throughout the rest of the year they've got an event with Porsche. Now, I could well be bringing a brand new 911 to that. Well, my brand new 911, new to me. They've got an Italian weekend, a British weekend, a Ferrari weekend, and a McLaren weekend. So if you have any of those cars and want to bring your car and have it on display, just head over to the 5 Zeros website and follow the links. I'll put a link in the description below. You need to book if you want to have your car on display, but it is free for members of the public just to come along and watch as well. And while you're here, if you need some refreshments, you can now come outside to the new hatch, where you can order coffees and drinks, and actually beers as well. So this is the really exciting bit for me. Last time we were here, it was a bit of a building site, but we've now got this really cool place where you can come on the outside. There's a beer pump there, which is always a good thing. So you can order your food there, but also if we just have a quick sneak peek this way, this has come on loads. This is going to be the new car storage facility. 150 cars are going to be able to be stored there. That's the new valeting and detailing area. 3 bays to do that. It's all getting really, really exciting. But anyway, the sun is out for now, because it did have a hint of a bit of rain earlier on. I reckon we go and get some warmth into that lovely V8 and give it some beans and just see how good that 8C Competizione sounds. Now, I won't lie, this is the bit I've been looking forward to the most. A cold start in an Alfa Romeo 8C. Old school key, so we'll turn that in there, give it a turn. We're in sport mode as well. So, oh, there's sport mode. Oh, pull a paddle, off we go. Oh boy. I've been driving this car for a good 40 minutes to an hour before I turned the cameras on. I just wanted to get my head around it. It's not lost on me the value of these cars. I mentioned how much they were new. This car has just under 7,300 miles on the clock, and there's currently one in a very similar spec on Auto Trader just like this for a cool £250,000. It's a very beautiful thing indeed. So I'm being very, very careful, remembering that it's a car that's, 20 years old. I want to start off by talking about the gearbox. It's a single clutch unit. It reminds me so much of the sport shift gearbox you get in the older Aston Martins, the older Vantage, the V12 Vantage I drove years ago now. And it's a real technique to it. You can run this in just auto and let it change for itself. Or you can push the auto button there and it will turn it into a manual, and you can swap cogs for yourself. And you can just do it like you do it in a modern day PDK or DSG gearbox, just on throttle, pull the upshift paddle and the car will upshift. But let me demonstrate what happens when you do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's particularly spectacular. I don't know if you can hear that, hold on. It's just ridiculous. So, you pull up and there's a pause and the momentum of the car pulls forward, and then you get the new gear and then off you go. And it's quite clunky and agricultural really, and not all that pleasant. But it's probably the way you would shift if you were to track this car. I'm not so sure how many people would track this car, although I do remember many years ago I was on a track day at Goodwood and a guy rocked up in a Spider one of these and tracked it. Hats off to him. But the technique is, as you pull up, just lift the throttle just a little bit. And it smooths out the changes, and all is good in the world. And then you can just sit back and enjoy the symphony that is that V8. And there are sometimes things that are quite difficult to get across on camera. The one thing I'm going to struggle to get on camera is the emotion that this car invokes in you. It is a sensational thing. The noise is spine-tingling. And I'll do my best to get the noise over. I'm really limited by cameras and so on, but it is a sensational car. I now understand why it was voted by so many people as one of the best sounding cars of all time. Certainly one of the best sounding V8s. I mean, just come on. If I just come down, it's in second gear. It's nuts. Now the air conditioning in here is rubbish, so if I just down the windows just a crack, just to there, you might be able to get some semblance of the orchestra that is playing in the front of this car. That's the speed limit. It's not even me going that quick. It's just that noisy all the time. Oh my God. Roll out in second. Oh! Oh, wow. It does take driving through towns at the national speed limit to a whole new level. You just stay in first and second, and especially when the buildings come either side, the vibrations just bounce back at you from the exhaust. It's immense. And God knows what this thing would be like if you were in, here we go, there's a big building on the left hand side. You ready? See, normally when you drive really nice sounding cars, especially in the days of all the filters and emissions stuff that has to be put on cars these days, the only way you get a decent noise out of it is to be right at the top end of the rev limit, driving really quickly. This, just on a half throttle at like 3,000 RPM, just listen to it. Always have to get used to, with it being a left hooker, just keeping in close enough not to have the right wheels going down the cat's eyes. I'm also just super conscious of how valuable this car is, and curbing wheels and all that kind of stuff. Steering feel. The steering is quite weighty actually, which surprised me, because modern day Alfas, you drive something like a Giulia Quadrifoglio, the steering's really quite light and very sharp and very direct. This has got a real weight to it, but when you get it into a corner, when you are pushing on a little bit, it just firms up, and it's nice, and it's got a lovely feel to it, but it's far, far heavier than I thought it was going to be. Seriously? Oh my God. Now this is a very rapid car. It's got carbon ceramic brakes. They all came with carbon ceramic brakes, Brembo units. I've not really had to try them too hard, if I'm honest, because it's really just not that kind of test drive. I'm trying to be super sensible and just enjoy the car for what it is. Jesus. Oh, it's just a delicious thing. It's that crack and whip when you change up gear. It's there on the downshift as well, and I just don't think it's manufactured. I just think that's how this thing changes gear. It just spits and burbles and farts and makes the most beautiful cacophony of noise. It's like no other car I've driven, especially with, this is a completely stock, this car. It's not like it's got straight pipes on it or anything. This is how it came out of factory. That's what you could do back in 2008, 9, 10. You could make cars that sounded this good. Woohoo! The cabin is just so cool in here. The detail of the leatherwork on the door cards and in these seats is beautiful. I didn't spot it when we were doing the walk around at Five Zeros. The carbon dash, the details of carbon work everywhere just make it so special in here, and it's just so old school. No big screens, no CarPlay. You don't need it. Even the central display is right out of an Alfa 159. It's nothing special. It looks so retro. It's almost trying to be too cool. And then you've got these two fantastic dials with your rev counter on the right, revving all the way up to 7,500 RPM. I think the rev limiter kicks in at 7.8, although I'm not going to go that high. And then the speedo on the left, just magnificent, absolutely magnificent. And when you get a twisty road sign, and actually, when you when you get some open flowing roads, it's obviously a fast car this, but it handles so beautifully. No great surprise really. It's an Alfa Romeo. But there have been Alfa Romeos in the past that kind of looked great but didn't drive fantastically. And even this car, there were some big well-known journalists said that this car didn't drive great, it wasn't a fantastic driver's car. And I think that's probably a lot to do with the gearbox, but as I've mentioned, once you get your head around that and you treat it in a different way, it's just a different driving technique to get your head around, and I really like that. And, you know, it's not got the driving dynamics of a modern day sports car or GT car. Of course it hasn't. It's a, 2009 car, 2010 car. It's sort of 15, 20 years old. But I don't care, because it's wonderful. And I know I've said this in videos recently, never meet your heroes. Well, I've lusted after these for so long. I've been to the Alfa Romeo Museum in Italy a number of times, and they've got one of these in the same colour actually in the Alfa Museum. And you look at it and you just think, that's a beautiful car. Wouldn't it be amazing to be able to drive one of those, to have a go, to just try out the driver's seat? And thanks to the wonderful owner of this car, a massive, massive thank you for trusting me with the car and letting me share it with you. It's not been the best day in terms of traffic. I've headed out and tried to find some nice roads, but it's so busy today. I don't know why everyone's out driving around. I want the roads to be clear so I can, really drive this car and experience it. But what a thing. What an absolute thing. Is this car the best looking car of the last 50 years? That's probably, that's saying, okay, anything past, let's say, 1970. Is there a better looking car made post 1970? Because there were some absolute bangers in the 60s, weren't there? Ferrari P3/4, the Tipo Stradale from Alfa Romeo. There were some absolute corkers. So let's not go before 1970. But I think this is one of the best looking cars of the last 50 years. Definitely one of the best looking cars of the last 20 years. The Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale is right up there as well, but that's only 33 units being made, and it's a particularly special car, even more special than this. But wow. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of the Alfa Romeo 8C Competizione. What a thing. What an absolute thing. Amazing. I'll put all the details for 5 Zeros in the link below. If you're interested in their Marque Weekends, I'll put the different marques and the different weekends and the link. You just need to go. Members of the public, it's free. If you want to take your own car to be displayed because you have a car from the marque that's been celebrated that weekend, it's £10. But when you buy your ticket, when you arrive, you get a £10 voucher to spend in the cafe at 5 Zeros. So it doesn't actually cost you anything, because let's face it, you'd rock up to an event and probably buy a coffee and a bacon butty anyway. But I'm now heading back into the more built-up areas. I'm not that far from 5 zeros, but if you enjoyed that, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come, and I'll see you on the next film. You take care, guys. Drive safe.